So once again, welcome everyone. Thanks for sharing your time with us tonight. Hopefully a lot of this will be review. We're excited to show you some of the new developments and especially some of the new coordination with the art install at the corner of the plaza. So if you go ahead to the next slide. Like I said, some of this may be review. It's just some of the table setting for where our project boundary lies. So focusing in on that intersection of Tuttle Road and the busway at the southern end of the Van Aken district, looking at how the district is seen from that area, accessed from that area, how to tie the plaza into the busway and the new transit center, and how we can start to kind of knit the different open spaces and public spaces together. And here you're seeing what was the part of the 2020 vision plan. So this design is an extension of those goals of creating a place here at the RTA Comfort Station that ties together some of these southern parcels, some of the crosswalks and pedestrian throughways through here, and really starts to provide a sense of wayfinding to the district. Next slide. So just a little bit more on the project and the background. So this project is being designed to a construction budget of 1.8 million, of which 1.5 is NOACA Transportation Alternatives Grant funding. Where we are currently, so we have been working through the design schematic and design development. We're now starting to transition to construction and really getting into the details of the design with the goal of having construction bidding and contracting towards the end of this year and shovels in the ground are early next year. And so this is our second stakeholder meeting, and also what the follow-up open house will be our second open house for this project. And we wanted to take a moment to acknowledge some of the comments that we heard as part of that initial process, and also talk through, oh wait, Kara, can you go back one slide? Thanks. Just some of the things that have been changed as a result of that. And then some of the things that are still in, will still be part of the city discussions and ongoing discussions for the district, but maybe don't fall within the purview of this project. I would say the most significant change that occurred as a result of stakeholder feedback was the orientation of the drive. So I know at the end of this meeting, last time we spent a lot of time talking about how do people navigate the parking lots, what's the best way to kind of drive through and negotiate that one-way design. And so what we ended up doing was reversing the orientation. So what you're seeing here was the old orientation. We've now reversed it so that if you drive into the parking lot and then maybe all the spaces are full, you can still access the lower parking lot and drive through and get a spot. It also coordinates with the Tesla charging stations planned for that area. Another area that we looked at, but because of safety within the busway and some of the challenges of crossing multiple parking lot areas, is that number 3, where we looked at a crosswalk at that location. Because of the 2 southern crosswalks, which are really at more kind of logical areas where they land in pedestrian safe areas, number 3 just seemed like it was going to be a challenging location, since there are a number of grade changes and also the charging stations planned for that area. But we did study it as part of this most recent round. Some of the other connections and things that we talked about really fall outside the purview of the funding for this project and the scope that ODOT had basically allowed for this project. But there are areas that have been taken note of, you know, especially pedestrian connections, that will continue to be part of the conversations going forward.
So I'm going to jump in here and talk a little bit more about where we are with the design. This is the latest and greatest plan. This is new to what our stakeholders from the last call have seen, because now, as Cullen mentioned, the feedback that we got from you, we've adjusted as you can see here, you'll see the Tesla parking space, which is going to go in. But really, our limit of work is this orange line here. And so that's where most of the design in our scope is happening. And so being the latest and greatest plan, we are having, I don't know if you can zoom in at all, Kara, but we've cited the location of the art with our artist, and we're working closely with them on getting the paving patterns integrated with their art piece, as well as our planters and our seating. We've added a couple more bollards just to keep the adjacent parking lot area to the Shaker Plaza, to south of the plaza there, to keep it a little bit more safe for those pedestrians. And then if you go on, sorry, I made you zoom in, and I'm going to ask you to go to the next slide. But as we go into the next slide, then we'll get more into the detail of what the site elements look like. Oh, well, so here, just reminding everybody who was on the previous Zoom meeting, our core concepts that drove the design. Really what we heard was that we need a greater connection for all the pedestrians, the cyclists, the vehicles, and a safe connection so that, and especially the RTA riders, because, you know, they're coming from different directions as they're connecting to their rapid transit or their bus. So connection was a key component in how we developed a lot of the pedestrian crosswalks. Arrival was another big concept, and you know, that area at Chagrin and Tuttle did not have a momentous welcoming experience into Van Aken the way other entries into Van Aken has. So that's really what drove the siting of the art piece in that location, and it kind of serves as a really nice beacon or a wayfinding tool into the district. And then lastly, recharge. Sorry, Karen. Giving people a place where they can relax while they're waiting for the RTA in the summer months. You know, we're going to have large shade trees, a lot of native plantings, integrated seating, and just a pleasant area for people to congregate as they are moving through. Next. This is what some of the site elements will look like. Our seat walls are going to be concrete with a hardwood top, integrated with the planter. Our paving is going to match that with from what we see in the area known as the living room up by the Mitchell's Ice Cream. So we're going to maintain that same paving pattern as a way to tie both portions of the district together. Again, shade trees for hot summer months. That was another big item that we had heard was necessary for those hot summer waiting times for the bus. And then understory plantings. So the next slide will get more specifically into it, but we really want to focus a lot on natives. So you can advance. So as we all know, native plantings increase the biodiversity, especially in urban areas. So we're trying to look at a lot of habitat inducing, and as well as you know, food and for birds, bees, butterflies. So the ornamentals such as serviceberry and eastern redbud offer a lot of spring interest with color, but then serviceberry in June offers a lot of bird pleasure. The berries won't last long because the birds will get them all. But then we move on to the red oaks for more of a shade tree. And again, all of these bring seasonal color and the benefits of being native, which require less water, less maintenance, and they just do better in our urban environments. And then same with the understory plantings, using a lot of the same ideas of the natives, our evergreen inkberry hollies. We're planning to do a dioecious planting, so males and females, so that we can produce as many berries as possible. The oak leaf hydrangea, and then a lot of the wild geraniums, which provide a lot of, it's a host plant for many different butterflies and moths. And again, with the prairie dropseed and then the sedge, we're hoping to, this next phase, as we get further and further through the development of the design, we're trying to really bring the water into these spaces and look at how we can use these as a biodiversity zone, like maybe a bioretention cell, or we're just getting into more strategies to mitigate water runoff. Next. Some of the elements that we have on site, we're going to be matching the existing light poles that are already there. The RTA also has some furniture elements next to their structure, which you'll see in the top right, and then new bollards and bike racks to match. Next. And this is the RTA comfort station, which we didn't design this, but we're including it here just to show how our site is integrated to theirs. And then here's our art component, which, as you can see, is generally where it's sited, as we spoke before.
And just to add, this has been initially reviewed by the Public Art Task Force, and the Public Art Task Force will be reviewing this later this month and has been part of the process from beginning with choosing the artist.
And then we're going to go through a couple of renderings here, things to note, again, how the art piece is sited within the plaza. You'll see that same paving pattern as you see up in the living room area. Some of the light fixtures are the same. You have a view there to the comfort station. This view kind of helps you understand how the new RTA comfort station, where it's positioned in relation.
And just to orient everybody, that's Tuttle Road that you see going north and south.
Yes. Correct. Next. This view in the plaza here shows the bollards we're using and how they're that area next to the Shaker Plaza parking lot. That's where we added some new bollards. Yep. And this is a closer view of the art piece. There's seating integrated into it. And then we are currently working on how the paving patterns also respond with the art piece. So part of the artist's project is to include words that are inscribed in the paving. And so we're working with them just to integrate it into our plaza design and into their art design. Next. Next. And again, you'll see the shade trees and some of the site elements, like again, the lights.
And also I want to jump in here to say that another element of the kind of next round of study is to see how we can potentially grade the plaza and utilize those planters as both planting areas, but also infiltration areas for some of the runoffs. So that's another level of study and design that this plaza and the one across from the RTA will be going through.
And as Kara mentioned at the beginning, our next presentation of this project will be on Wednesday. It'll be at the public open house. It'll be our second public open house at Banter in the Market Hall. And we'll have boards up for everybody to see the renderings and also we took tallies of all of the items that were preferred at our last open house meeting too. So we can kind of share some of the results on that board to show preferences and also like where that has how that helped us lead to the design we're at now. As Kara mentioned, February 21st is the Public Art Task Force, and BJ and Joel will be presenting their art piece there. And then April, Planning Commission and ABR. And then in the summer, we'll plan to get our drawings to the next level. And then again, by the end of this year, construction, awarding of contract, and spring of next year, begin construction.
I know you stopped sharing, but the last view you showed was actually a piece of the project that's on the RTA side, and that was a little seeding and planting area. Yeah, if you can go back one, yeah. So this, just for context, is across the street from the plaza, and the public realm project is also improving Tuttle Road there with lighting and trees, as well as a bench seat and a planting area right there. Thank you. So just trying to put it all in context for you.